Good morning, and good morning. Hope all is well and you had a great weekend. I am Jamie Irvin. I am your Monday and Wednesday host for the morning call. Let's see what we got going on as we attempt to get ready for a profitable week. Right? Let's get this party started. What we got going on right now is we can start with the futures. Dow futures up 0.11%. S&P futures up 0.19%. NAS futures up 0.29%. In terms of the VIX is down 1.06%. For those of you who may not be familiar, the VIX is what's called the fear factor, fear gauge, and when it's pointing down, many times we'll see the Dow Jones, the S&P 500, and the NASDAQ trending upwards, as well as the Russell 2K, which is currently up 0.47%. And the same goes in the opposite. When the VIX is up, you tend to see more selling and more red on this side. Asia, mostly up, last reported. Asian markets mostly higher ahead of central bank decisions. And there's the bell. U.S. and China inflation data this week. ASX 200 is up. That's Australia, up 0.20%. Nikkei up 0.91%. Kospi up 0.13%. HSI Hong Kong up 0.05%. And Shanghai, the only one down, 0.72%. For Europe, everything was green. Last reported, DAX up 0.77%, which was the third most, actually. FTSE was up 0.43%. CAC was up 0.90%. FTSE Milano, MIB was up 0.78%, and Stock 600 up 0.55%. Right? We had some activity this morning already, and for the it's not what I was. We have I put in some orders over the weekend in my Sam, so y'all probably hear that kicking off. For the Forex Factory, there was nothing actually being reported today, even though there was some activity that was happening. But in terms of Forex Factory, nothing was reported. Investing.com, however, which, as you all know, tends to have something popping off. At 10 o'clock, one-star event, CB Employment Trends Index for March. 11 o'clock, 2 stars, New York Fed one-year consumer inflation expectations. 11:30, 3-month bill auction, 1 star. Also 11:30, the 6-month bill auction, 1 star. And then at 7 o'clock, 2 stars, FOMC member Kashkari speaks. Okay, so in terms of what we need to see, we only have 1 2-star event that and consumer inflation expectation, that is a thing, just so y'all know. Sizzling, good morning. Marcia, good morning. Arlissa, good morning. Janae, good morning. Lady T and Karen and Patrick, good morning. All right. So we're going to bounce from this and this. Here we go for earnings. It looks like Gorilla before the open today. I'm not familiar with this company, but GRRR is their ticker. They were this morning. Tilray is before open. That's so today was Gorilla before open. Tomorrow is Tilray. Cognite, I believe, is Neogen before open. Now, if you're not familiar with Tilray, they are in that I don't want to say marijuana, but they're in that whole entire space, legalizing. Once they get legalized on the federal level, you may hear more about Tilray. But the reason why this is of note for this week, I would say, outside of the fact that 420 is coming up, which is considered like what you would say is the weed holiday, I guess. One of the things Tilray has been doing, and I don't know if anybody on here trades them, but if you do, the thing that Tilray does is that they have been acquiring companies out that are like not cannabis companies per se. So they bought some like beverage company, things like that. So they're expanding beyond just cannabis. After close tomorrow is Air Test Systems, WD-40 Company, PriceSmart, SGH Nauticus Robotics, and RCI Hospitality Holdings Incorporated. Before the open on Wednesday, we got Delta. They say we love to fly in the shows, but I will say this: Boeing ain't making it easier for nobody right now. Another event just happened recently with Boeing. So there's that. So be on the lookout for Boeing stock if you trade them. Delta, I think most airlines would be impacted by what's happening with these Boeing planes. Applied Blockchain, APLD, is before open on Wednesday. There are Technologies also. After close, you got Rent the Runway, Richardson Electronics, Lakeland Industries Incorporated. After close, those three. Before open on Thursday, we got Constellation Brands, Carmex, Fastenal, Lovesac, Cons, Home Plus, Hooker, and NTI. That's before open Thursday. Nothing after close on Thursday. And then Friday, we got the banks stepping in. JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, you got BlackRock, you got CTE, you got Progressive, and State Street. So now we're gonna start seeing what's going down with the financial areas. How about that? Adam Mancini. On Friday, I was looking for a rally in SPX to 52.15. We hit, and it was key that any dips hold 51.84 to 89. We held it 2:30 p.m. Friday, and again overnight bull/bear line. Today, the plan 51.95 is immediate support. As long as we're above 51.95, 52.12, 52.19, and higher remains live. We sell only if 51.79 through 51.83 fails. So, in terms of what we put on the chart, I'm going to put on this chart here is going to be the number let's see. Going to put 51.89 on there for starters. So let's start there. All right. This is so we have an idea of what to be on the lookout for while we are trading during the day. Well, I shouldn't even say trading because I just watch it whether I'm trading or not. So we'll do so 51.95 is support. So and then 52.12 is kind of like so it's going to be support right here. Let's still say 51.95. Make sure that that's the immediate support. So we need to be above that in order to quarter to Mancini now. Y'all know how this is. If you're wondering where we get the numbers from, we take ES, /ES/ES, which is S&P futures. And we take the close of the last session and subtract it from SPX, the close of SPX last session. That difference between the numbers is what we subtract from Mancini's numbers because he trades on the ES, and a lot of us trade on SPX. So that's where that number is coming from. All right. 5212, 5219 remains live heading up, and then basically 5179 is at the bottom. So what I would do on this particular chart is just put like a red, something red up there at the top. Probably should be green, to be honest with you. Let's do that. Then we'll move on, and we're gonna also put in our 15-minute. So for those who are trading the 15 minutes breakout, as a matter of fact, that is more important than this. So let's take care of that. Breakout. All right. Some of us trade the 15-minute breakout, and that is first 15 minutes of the first 15-minute candle. We wait to see what it's going to do. Some of us trade according to that. This is not Mancini. And there are different strategies that people use as it relates to those things. Okay. Can't get there you go. All right. So we're gonna wait to see what happens while we are on. If you have any tickers that you want looked at, please feel free to drop those. Zoe McFadden, good morning. Adrian Dupree, good morning. All right. Okay, so we have the challenge that is still going on right now. This is going to be week number 2 of the 6-week challenge. Let me see. The options 411 6-week live. All right. I'm looking for, I don't see any tickers. I don't know if y'all want me to be left up to my own devices when it comes to the tickers. Here we go. We are going to head over to a couple things that I know people are trading right now, and then we will keep it moving. This is NVIDIA on a monthly chart, and it's found this level, it looks like, or at least it's up there pretty high. It's a lot going on. They have been running up like crazy, which is not a surprise because it's the product that they have is in demand. So favorably, people are looking upon the stock, of course. But this has been the run that it has been on. I'm going to mark this up here because this was the turnaround point. On a lot of the charts that we we see this formation happening right here. A lot of times it'll be, a third leg coming down, and sometimes it will be another leg going up. So this month has been more of a indecision so far, but this is the seller zone as currently constituted. All right, for NVIDIA. It is trending, and again, this is on the monthly chart, and I'm just marking where price has turned around. This is the weekly, and it is still overall on an uptrend. Right? I'm gonna here to here, something like that. And all I'm doing is just trying to connect as many of those dots as possible, many of those wicks as possible to establish a trend. Right. So I just figured I would just go start down here and work my way up. This is the direction it was going, and it looks like it has hit this resistance. This is the monthly line that I just charted up here, and this is where it hits. Looks like it's has bounced off, and this past trend could be reversing. It could be a pullback right here, but at the very least, what we can say is we got a little bit of got enough to establish a trend by having 2 wicks. I'm just trying to get these 2 wicks to touch, and this could be coming down this way. So we'll wait to see what the next few candles look like, obviously, but in terms of, and a lot of times when people do their downtrend, they'll do it this way. Some people, I may start it off on one side and then switch it later, but this is what I think could be a potential downtrend. Not saying it'll be doing it forever, but at least for right now, this could be what's happening, and it will more than likely create some type of channel. On the daily, this is what this same thing looks like on the daily. On the daily, it actually has a channel that it is forming. And I would even say, if we're gonna look for here's our seller zone right here. Matter of fact, we could do, since we have a clearer trend on the daily, this is a channel. And so they came up, hit that point. Looks like it's been heading its way down. But here's our seller zone right here. And we'll mark that. And oops. There you go. Mark this. And I don't want to I don't want to put 1,001 lines on the chart because I'm known for doing that. But in my defense, I know what they all mean when I do it. All right. So I'm putting this in as the turning point up here. But since this is the daily, a lot of us trade the daily. This would be leg in, base, leg out for that formation. So I'll go with that up there, and I will go with this down here for the buyer zone that is currently in. The way that's looking. All right. So it will revisit it here. This is the second revisit, and looks like it could be bouncing off of that. And we'll go down here. All right. So this is on the daily. We got a seller zone up here, buyer zone right. It is trying to come out of this buyer zone and work its way back up. Who knows what it will do? But I'm just going to look at the 4-hour chart just to see what is happening. There's a buyer zone down here on NVIDIA at 868. So this could be a point where it turns around somewhere in here. If it comes down, it may turn around. There are definitely buyers here. So anything can happen. All right. We'll look and see what the option chain is doing. And then we'll go back and check on SPX. and catch up with them and see what SPX is doing. All right. Gonna do a two here. We're gonna see if it bounces off of there. This is probably a good time to, I guess you could say, remind people that I know for Thinkorswim that when it comes to alerts, you can have those alerts emailed to you, right? For those who may be trying to trade while at work and they need some information, you can have Thinkorswim. If I recall right, TradeStation may also have it, but I know for sure Thinkorswim. So that's something to keep in mind as well in terms of getting information during the day. Matter of fact, the one that I saw for TradeStation will also send you text alerts, things like that. So just keep that in mind when it comes to these levels and where prices might turn around. Obviously you can't react as fast if you're, preoccupied like that, but the potential is still there. So what I did here was on the 4-hour, this is a leg in. It's a gigantic leg in. I put 3 in the base and a leg out, but truthfully, plenty of people would go here and go leg in, 1 in the base with a gap up right here as the leg out. And then these 2 would be revisits, or I'm sorry, these 2 would count as 1. So you got, this is the leg out, and then these 2 right here are not, these are all kind of together because they're right in a row. So there hasn't been technically a revisit yet. So this may drop down, and we can, see. But this is the one on the 4-hour chart. All right. So I see AMD, I see Shop, I see Amazon. Awesome. Hello, Nangali. All right. So let's jump into those. We're gonna do SPX. Let's check on SPX real quick, and then we go take a look at these tech stocks. 15-minute chart. Okay, so this is where we're at with SPX. It's the first 15 minutes. This is the area where it closed on the last session. So where it opened and closed, all that's together in a close proximity. And this has not broken out quite yet of the 15-minute range. So all right, this is the higher number, this is the lower number, so we'll watch that. And what we have seen, I know on some of the charts we've had, it'll base in here for a little while, and at some point it might break out, or it might, swing down. But that first initial push out we've been seeing has been doing things like this, where it'll come up and then something to hit it and it'll push out. So you definitely got to watch it, especially since it's so early in the morning push. Let's see here. Shopify. So Shopify. All right. So this has been a turnaround here. At this point, put that there. Shop is a rock star in its ecosystem for that, providing people a way to run a business online, basically. All right. So we have this as the point where it is currently turning around. There's a nice buyer zone right here from 54 to 45. Okay. So I'm going to mark this as well. And I always start at the monthly, I mark where the levels are, where things have turned around, and then I go for the trend, try to see how it's trending on the weekly, because I typically spend most times looking at the daily chart, but I am now making sure I switch that up to spending more time on the 4 hour and the 1 hour. We do have in our Telegram group actually a couple different graphics that show entry times and well, more so how long, what you should trade in terms of your charts, depending on how long you plan on holding the instrument that you're trading. So that is in our Telegram group. Do I have it on my backdrop? No, I don't have it on my backdrop right now, but I will repost it and share it to the bottom of the timeline. But that's where I'm getting my information from. I believe that was created by Arlissa. At least that's who I got it from. So it has been a good resource because it helped me to see where I could make a couple changes and where I was entering. So far it has been a great tool to have. So I'm doing this as the trend for right now. This one right here and this one right here. This looks like it is definitely sitting right here on 74. So this is the weekly chart, but yeah, this price point right here is support, providing some support. So here we go. At some point, what is this? March 21st, it hit this monthly level and started heading down. So right now, it looks like it is trying to make its way through a buyer zone. This is March 6th time frame. So it definitely turned around here. I'm going to chart this like so. I really don't care for those when the wick is so much higher like this, and it makes this particular middle candle almost as tall as the out candle next to it. I'm usually suspect about considering that like a legitimate zone, but so because of that, I'm gonna put this in gray. And on my charts, gray is just meaning that there's something happening there. May not be a strong formation, but it's definitely something that I know I got to watch out for. So we did leg in, base, leg out, something like that. Can't tell these apart actually, so we're gonna do it this way. Do it like this. There you go. Make these a little bit darker. All right. This is gray. So this is just acknowledging that it is coming into this zone. This is on the daily chart. And normally on my daily charts, I use green for my levels. But in this case, it's in that zone. So I'm acknowledging it is in that zone. Here is the next one down. So here's the buyer zone. Right here. Right there. Leg in, base, leg out. So this is that's a very strong formation. But this zone, this was a retest over here. Then you have a retest over here in this area. So there's definitely enough activity over here on this side. in terms of a seller zone, I will be up here, something like that. And this right here, again, this blue line is the monthly. So the green line is the daily. This is where it turned around. So it bounced out, retested, and started coming on down. So that's what I'm looking at in terms of Shopify. On the 4 hour, which is, if I'm trading it, that's where I will be looking at the 4 hour and the 1 hour. This is what's happening in the gray area that I just charted, and those gray lines. There is, I will have to look at the formation over here. Right. So this is where it's at now. About 73.37. I'm seeing stuff over here. Probably have to go lower than that anyway, but this whole zone is a lot of busyness. This is for lack of better phrasing. So if I was the clearest zone is that's not price hasn't went through yet would be leg in, base, leg out. However, that's kind of cutting it close in terms of the zone, but it hasn't filled the zone entirely. So I was charting this. This is what's the low in here? 72.9. And what's the low over here? Cool. Yeah, so it's a 2 cents difference if we're splitting hairs between what I would be charting up here, but it's very, very choppy on the 4 hour in this area. So if you wanted something more clear in terms of a buyer zone, you continue looking and seeing what's, yep. So you got stuff over here for the 4 hour. So if we're at 74 up here, 74, you could be looking in this area, or we could be putting a few in the base if you want to do it on the 4 hour. So I would be looking something like, I'm just gonna put this line here so I can know where I'm at when I'm over here to the side. All right. Yeah, so this is the one I was just talking about. It's about 2 cents difference between this candle and this candle for the how low it's going. So it hasn't technically gone through there, but it's obviously super close. All right. There's so many different ways to chart that, but you would be including a whole lot of candles in the base. That's at the end of the day, if you go higher, that's what will be happening. So I'll be looking down here. We're going to do something like that. Again, this is on the 4 hour. It'll be something like that. Bunch of revisits, obviously. So, but when it came down, it hit that zone. So I will be watching it here. I mean, it bounced out and kept moving. So, but in terms of the daily, I'll be up here looking at right here. Leg in, base, leg out, and then I will do leg in, base, leg out up here on shop. Those are the two I would look at. I'm just looking at the 1 hour to see if it's anything clearer than the 4 hour. Usually the 4 hour gives you a pretty good set of candles, or the weekly, depending on what you like, but it is definitely confirmed that this is to me that this is a nice zone right there, though. But that's what I would do with that. Hola, Peacock watch list. Good morning, Tamar. We got Shop AMD. AMD. All right. We must have charted this within the recent past, because I don't remember charting AMD on my own in the past couple weeks. Yeah, y'all can see those lines, right? The green lines. What I'm looking at is really not much has changed. Leg in, base, leg out. This was a gap out here. I see this as being in a buyer zone right now. And I'm okay with this as the seller zone. Leg in, base, leg out. So what is that? I'll be going outside, and I got to go back to NVIDIA because I forgot to look at I mentioned if I was going to be in the trade, what I was, and I forgot to look at the option chain after I mentioned it. But seller zone, leg in, base, leg out. Buyer zone, leg in, base, leg out. Be outside of 160 down here. Is in the zone. This down here looks like it could be a cheer formation. I'm gonna put this. Since it's in this zone, I'm gonna make these dots. And they're green, they're in that zone. But in terms of the next one down, leg in, base, leg out, right here, right up under the current formation. So then there's a gap right here. This is a buyer's gap. And I know that because it gapped up, which meant buyers were pushing that price up. So that's what I have for this. Let's take a look at the options chain. April 12th, expiring this Friday. This is a 2.5 spread. Okay. So the price between the strikes, 2.5. I am on the single options chain. I mean, the single view right now. 169.5 is about the current price. This is the implied volatility, which is the range within which it may travel by this expiration. We add 169 to this to get the higher number. And we go outside that number and we subtract the same number from this to get the lower number, and we go outside of that. So 169.5 minus 8, 161.5. What's below that is a 160. 160 right here. This 83% out of the money. This is a probability out of the money. There's an 83% chance that this will expire out of the money based on these numbers. I do look at volume and open interest while I'm, making a decision. I do like to go with the one that has the higher activity that increases the chances of me being able to get out of there when it's time. So since we're in the zone that is the buy zone, we would need to be under price, which is where I am right now. 160. So this will be 32-cent premium. for expiration on the 12th. AMD. I'm only doing this because I like 83% probability. Some people will get closer, but not me. And I'm gonna put YouTube AM. All right. Now, just so we're all on the same page. Whoops. What I did when I selected my strikes, I do my strikes one leg at a time, and I have no idea what just happened here. I do my strikes one leg at a time, and so that's a little bit different than how other people do it. But let me see. What did I put myself into? There you go. So what some people will do is they will go 160 on the single leg, and then they will switch it to a vertical. Go to 160, 162.5. And this is the same thing in terms of the way it looks. So this would be the vertical. All I did was selected the legs individually. I'm on a Windows PC, so I select the first leg, and then while it's on the single, I select the first leg, and then the first leg is going to be the sell, so that's going to be bid, and then I select the second one. In this case, I got to go down one, but boom, and then boom. So it's the same thing, just on single, you create the vertical yourself, and we get the number from the single view, the single spread. So that's what I'll be looking at for right now, and watching that on AMD. Monitor working. So wait to see if that'll fail. Depending on what's happening, it may be going up. AMD could be pushing away from it. So this may or may not be something that we continue to see. But for right now, that's what we got. Yes, ma'am. I select the single leg one at a time. I'm not even sure how I started doing that, but it just seems to be faster for me. I think that's what it was. It was just less clicking, really. Amazon. Oh, NVIDIA. Was it NVIDIA? NVIDIA. We're supposed to look at the options chain for NVIDIA. All right. Let's see what NVIDIA is looking like. This Friday expiration 33 is the implied volatility, and I guess technically you can go. Let's see what the 4-hour chart is looking like right now. Microsoft. All right, so I think you can do either one of these. It's coming down towards the fire zone right now, and I'm just looking at it on the 4-hour just to see what we got going on for NVIDIA. Just looking for where the areas could be. So we do have this that it looks like it is heading down towards. I bet you there's something on the 1-hour as well. Yep, we're still in that same area. Okay, so I'm going to go for. I would be for the 12th. I would be looking at somewhere like 40. So 79% out the money. This is a 5 spread. The difference between 840 and 835, it's 5. So that's a 5 spread. So the collateral would be $500 because the spread times, well, it's 100 shares in every one contract, number one. So we're multiplying that by 100. The spread times 100. So for this one, we're looking at, so I did 873 minus 33. I actually went even lower. 79% is, I mean, that's almost 80% out the money. I just went one step down, 835. And I'm going to put that one in there. YouTube, AM for NVIDIA. All right. You do the same thing at the top if you so choose. 33 at the top. What is that? 905. 8. This is Sam, y'all. So don't be thinking that you don't feel that quick when it's live. Just know that. All right. So we'll be looking at 08. 08 to say 910. But here, about 81%. This right here is the volume and the open interest. You know, the volume and open interest right now, the volume is 3,500. The open interest is 7,800. So there's some activity right there. It might be hard to get this filled. This is the next level down, which is where I'm gonna be. Where's the tad bit? Actually, I'm not even gonna worry about getting into the iron condor right now, but I'm more of an iron condor person. What else we got here? Lady T, you are hilarious. She said rolling out the trade. Look, so I went in on Saturday, and I do a lot of charting on Saturday. Reset my level, so if I see it, I put it in. It's in my Sam, so I'm like, it ain't gonna hurt to put it in ahead of time. AMD, do we do AMD? Yeah, okay. So we go to AMD, then NVIDIA, Amazon is next, and then looks like our list is having. I put the link in the Telegram for her. All right. Amazon. Actually, right before we do Amazon, let's swing back over to SPX. See if there's been a breakout. Then we'll swing back over there to Amazon. Let's see. No breakout yet. Still sitting right there, stuck in the middle. Right there. So it has not been a breakout quite yet. Not yet. All right. And it may not be one. Who knows? Okay. You know, Amazon is also handling their business right now. And this one I did chart. It is on a run up. Broke past its recent highs. And it is retesting. It has been retesting its levels. At least on the monthly. I'm going to clear this and do it from scratch. All right. So we're just I'm going to mark where I see it. It's about right here. Came back. Retest. And we're going to go down here because this is where it turned around as well. So I'll mark these two for the weekly. For the monthly. For the weekly, is kind of taking care of itself. And actually doing the wrong one. Move. Set the trend line. And something like that. Right there, I think. So I'll be watching to see what it ends up doing. And make sure I can see the line. And got it. All right. That's what it looks like. It's trending upwards. And right about now, it looks like it's trying to start, finding its levels, I guess you could say. When it's that high up, there's no seller zone right now. So it's got to figure out what it's going to do in terms of when is going to be the point that the sellers step in, which is another way of saying how high is it going to go up before people start taking profit. That's really, to me, all that really means. But that's it on the weekly. There's a buyer zone, looks like right here on the weekly. And on the daily, this thing is I see, to me right here, this is probably about the clearest. These two are the clearest buyer zones. One down here, not super strong leg outs, and one right here. That's what stands out the clearest in terms of, let's say, what I would consider to be a traditional formation. Put traditional in the quotations. So let's see. We went like this, something like this. Leg in, two in the base, leg out right here. U formation. But you could also do the same thing right here. Leg in, two in the base, leg out, and this would all be one revisit. If you want to do it that way. Leg in, base, leg out, or with no revisits, or down here with one. Oh, this is one revisit. I don't necessarily like these funny looking leg ends, but if you were going to, I know some people who will use it as a leg in. This will be the base and this will be the leg out. I'm not saying that that's how I like to do it. I'm just saying I just acknowledge what I've seen other people do. Leg in here, one in the base, leg out. I'll rather just acknowledge the fact that there's something there as opposed to charting that, because that's not a solid leg in for me. I like to kind of go with what seems to be the more solid stuff. But that's what I have down here is really, to me, it's still working on this zone at the top, but I see a buyer zone right here. There's a little bit of something. I was gonna say there might be a little bit of something on the 4 hour, but right here, this is a strong on the 4 hour. This is a very strong formation for Amazon right there. So I would definitely be looking at what's going on here. And we'll see what the option chain got to say. You got to say option chain. We'll do orange. Y'all, but for real, that sale be making it seem like you killing it, right? Getting to the sim, boy, be feeling like a rock star, sim millionaire. You know what I'm saying? Go live, you be like, dude, the price literally has like a dance contest on my strike, man. You know what I'm saying? All kind of James Brown moves happening. So you got leg in. I got 3 in the base, leg out. And also I've seen some people chart it this way. leg in, this one in the base. This is a small gap out for a leg out. I've seen it done that way as well. The only reason why I wouldn't necessarily disagree with it in terms of the formation is because this let's see, get that closer. Because this was a gap out, and this will be the next candle next to it. So if we use this as a small base, less risk, et cetera, et cetera. But I've also, there's some people who they only prefer to go with the charts with the strongest leg in and the strongest leg out in the vicinity, and so they would chart it more than likely chart it this way. As far as I'm concerned, I just look at it like if I'm going to do it this way, I'm also going to acknowledge that there's a gap right here too. So either way, the thing is just knowing what you're looking for, or what you got all the information that you need. So even if I did do it this way, this is a gap. This gapped up, but then price pushed through at least to this point. But I'll be fine with either one of those if anybody gonna chart it that way. I also know this might be considered a buyer zone just because of the formation, but I wouldn't, let's say, necessarily chart it that way because of this being the leg in. But I could see when somebody would see a buyer's formation right there. But in terms of Amazon, so if we're trying to go under 180 or well, there's nothing above it. So let's see what Amazon is talking about right about now for a April 12th expiration. So you got 186.43 minus $5. So we would need to be about right here. This is a 2.5 spread. Let me hit y'all with the traditional way. 180, and switch this to vertical. 41 cent. 2.5 spread. And then let me hit you with that Bob gun. YouTube AM. We check it out on Wednesday to see what happened. All right, but that's what I got for Amazon. I'm sorry. Which one, Lady T? Which I just saw your question. Did you say that's a buy or sell zone? Because I might have misspoke. But let me know which ticker you were talking about. So I'll make sure I got the right one. But if we were talking about Amazon, I only see a buyer zone right here for this area was on the 4-hour. Buyer zone down here. I don't see anything definitive quite yet for a sell zone because it's way up there. This is the buyer zone that I would look at on the daily. It just so happens that this is what we just charted it on the 4 hours, definitely closer. But I really don't see a sell zone quite yet. Nothing that would be I mean, I guess if you went down to like a half hour or something like that. Yeah. This is what this part right here is what is inside of this up here. What is that? 186. So this candle, all I did was zoomed into that particular candle and looked at that top portion. So yep. So if there was gonna be something, it would be up here, but I'll feel way more comfortable with the just focusing on the buyer zone down here. Yeah. So it's because it's at its all-time highs, you're not gonna see that depending on how you trade. Some people would just wait till just only play the buyer zones. Some people would use technical analysis indicators to see what they can make happen. To each his own. So we're in the Amazon trade, we're in the AMD trade as well, and we did Nvidia. All right. We are going to swing back to SPX. We did have like I said, we did have our options 411. Our sessions have kicked off, and if you are so inclined, please, before I forget, if you got anything out of today's broadcast, please click like. Feel free to subscribe. We much appreciate it. I remember we got a membership, educatortotrader.com. That's where you can go for the membership to get our membership information. All right. Let's see what else we got going on here. So this looks like it's trying to break out. Oh, look at that. So this is what I would consider to be a buyer zone formation right here. Leg in, two in the base, leg out, right? So what would happen here, and again, this is on the 15-minute chart. What would happen here is I would be kind of sort of waiting just to see what happens. 52.21 is where it turned around on the last session. Like this is like in a row. They both stopped around the same spot. So I definitely would be paying attention to that. But I do know that sometimes this will find its way out and then moonwalk its way back into the zone, depending on what's happening. Right about now is what we call the 10 o'clock turnaround, and that's usually when you'll see something happening. What I can say is because there's not quote unquote a whole lot going on, and in terms of what we normally see during the day, this may not be one of those days where you see a whole bunch of turning around and it coming back in and things of that nature. We know anything can happen, but usually we have a lot of red folders and yellow folders during the day. Somebody was trading the breakout right now, which depends on what you do. So none of this is investment advice. We all trade things differently. Okay. So I don't want to make any assumptions on how other people are trading. However, if we're looking at so here's what we're looking at right now. What this is a trade that I put in. This has been in for a while and was probably put in wrong now that I look at it. I'm gonna go make this single. Is this right? I wish when you hovered over something that it would just highlight the whole strike. So that way you're not entering and trying to figure out what's going on with your strikes. It looks to be the same strike. Okay, so I was put in right. This was a PDT hack that was put in, and I put it in like Friday, Thursday or Friday, something like that. So it expires on today. If we are looking for the PDT hack, probably want to get something that there's a chance that it will fill. It looks to be moving up a little bit, so that's why we will be going on the put side and doing a vertical. You're looking at 60 right there. So just 82% out the money, not a bad deal. And one above it, we will be looking at 50 cent on that one. Some people would get closer. It's nothing nothing wrong with getting closer. Get a little closer. The volatility is about, I will round it up to like 19. As a matter of fact, usually when it gets that close, I'll just say it's 20, but that would be what, 51.97. So this is still below that. So I'm comfortable with 51.95. And I'm just making sure I got the right numbers on here. Yep. Okay. Then I will be putting this in. Bottom side. Let me see. Y2N10. Because it broke out already. Now, like I said, this could happen where it starts making its way backwards. And there's that. So, but right around now is when I start looking anyway. Regardless. And then, so what you would do is do the opposite side. So this was a puts that I put in. I go over here to the call and I flip these. You're doing a PDT hack. So on this 51.90 was I bought the leg. Now I'm going to sell that leg. And then over here, 51. So we flipped it upside down. You can tell that with the numbers right here. So we literally went on the opposite side and we flipped them around. And all I got to do now is the amount of profit that I would like on this. I'm going to add it to the 4.40. So let's say in this case, if I wanted 80, if I wanted $40, it would be like 4.80. Now we'll do good to cancel. So if it keeps going in the direction that it is trending, it should be possibly locking. All right. And we'll see what ends up happening, but that's what it looks like on the options chain. 51.90. I was on this side, screen. On this side, it's red. 51.95. It's red. Over here is green. And if it locks at some point, then like right there, like locks right there. So so then just so you know what just happened, if you're not familiar with the PDT hack, I highly recommend it as part of your arsenal. It's for cash settled stocks. And so what ends up happening in the trade, what this trade is doing is getting to the one side. And the reason why we even do this trade is to be able to get in and out of, well, get into trades without burning one of your day trades, right? So you get in on one side, which I just did. And then when you flip it and go on the other side, what's happening is it's you're buying and selling at the same strike. It releases your collateral. So now you can reuse that same collateral. But the thing is, you don't close it. One side is going to expire, you know, in the money, right? That's the way it works, because you're going to pick up the amount of money that I put in that I wanted for profit. That's what I'm going to end up getting once this balances out. So you'll see the emails that say, "Oh, you gotta you're gonna get exercise in the sun," and that's part of the process. But since this accepted and it locks, that trade is locked in. So the profits for that is locked in. for the day, I'm done in terms of that. As far as that's concerned, I don't have to worry about touching that trade. Doesn't matter what price does at this point once that PDT hack locks on the other side. But the key is making sure that whatever you did on the one leg on whatever side you get on, you got to go on the other side and do the opposite to that same strike. And once it locks, after you put your profit in there, I use lower profit, like $40, because I figured it would, get in faster, and that's what the PDT hack is. I'll put this in the group. I'm sorry, in the box. The lady who I learned about it from, X Options. X Options for the PDT hack. I don't know if it's at. Let me see. We'll make sure I get all the right link. So we'll do. Let's see. X Options. Yep. Yep, this is her. So PDT rule hack. It must be this one. Must be this one. Okay, so I'm gonna put this in the box down here so you can have it. I always refer to it. Again, it's on cash settle. It's on the cash settle options. So that's what we do it on is SPX. I do also do it on a Russell 2000 RUT. And again, this is not investment advice, but I'm just making you aware of what some of the cash settle options are. Cash settle just means that whereas with let's say a regular trade, depending on what happened with the options, you might end up getting stock, but this settles in cash at the end of that trade. So if the trade went against you, it settles up in cash. These are cash settled. Cash settled. DJX, NDX, OEX, RUT, SPX, VIX, and I believe XSP is on that list too, as well as ES. I normally just do SPX and Russell 2000, but so that's what I use the PDT hack for on those cash settled. All right. I did send Alyssa the link, but I did not see her showing up. So we're going to keep it moving. All right. Let's take a look, see at what's going on right now with the United States of America. The VIX is down 3.12%. Russell 2K is up 0.24%. The NASDAQ is up 0.34%. S&P 500 is up 0.22%. And the Dow Jones Industrial Average is up 0.17%. All right. So we can do our E2T. Start with the chart before I forget that too. We have some free resources. One of which is startwiththechart.com. That is startwiththechart.com. Free resource on charting. If you are new to charting, I think that is a great resource to get started with, covering technical analysis. And so I would highly recommend that. Start with the chart. The other thing that I will highly recommend is it's trading strategy. So this is start with the chart right here, so you can see what it looks like real quick, and then we'll be up out of here. Assuming it don't take forever to load. But between start with the chart And then there's another one called Trading Strategy for You. Whereas you can kind of get an idea of like what your trading strategy or your here we go, or your trading plan would be. Let me see. Then again, there could be something wrong with something in between me and wherever this server is, so I'm not going to even worry about it. But start with the chart.com is what is the site that I know it to be. Trading strategy for you.com is another one. So if you are looking to get a handle on your trading, it's a good way to really get a trading plan in place, and it's a free resource. So I would definitely recommend that as well. So I meant to go here. All right. So we have our E2T daily declaration. I am a successful trader. I am a wise and knowledgeable trader. I make smart and lucrative decisions for my portfolios. Money likes me. Dinero me encanta. Because money is comfortable around me, it is drawn to me. E2T daily prayer. Lord, give us wisdom and knowledge for our trades today. Help us to make smart and lucrative decisions for our portfolios. Right? So just to be aware, and it is something that we're trying to get fixed. When you do start with the chart, you have to do without the so it's supposed to be HTTPS. So if you just type in HTTP, or if you, in some cases, if you do start with the chart.com with nothing on it, it may not get there. But if you do HTTP without the S and do start with the chart.com, you got to type it out the long way. This is what it looks like. So this is the secret to maximizing profits. All right. So this one is start with the chart. Talk about the indicators, Y chart. I mean, man, it's what a chart is, what platforms, why you should chart, how to chart, all of that. So that is a really good resource for free again. And it has definitely been something that people have gravitated to. And then the other one is the trading strategy for you. So let's see. For you.com. So let's pull this back. So essentially what's going on with some, not all, some of the websites, they have to update their protocols in the background. So that's what is happening when some sites may not work because they need HTTPS. Some of them will forward it automatically, some don't. So when you type in, just the, let's say Microsoft.com, usually it should forward you right to HTTPS, blah, blah, blah. And so if it doesn't, and you type it in any type of .com, direct web link, if it doesn't do it, try taking off that S, but the S stands for security. So it's not good if that S is not on there, basically. So, but this is the what's the best trading strategy for your personality? It's a quiz, and so trading strategy for you, and you can take a look at there, take a look in there, and just fill it out, man. Answer according to what you like, what your trading situation time wise is, all that stuff, and you get a it'll come back with something that hopefully will work for you and you can make it part of your trading plan. All right. All right. So we're out of here. Thank y'all so much for hanging out with us today. And we do two things around here as our target goal: stay green, get this money. We will see you in the Telegram group or in the market. All right. So you all have a great trading day, and we will see you tomorrow where our listener will be back on the mic. All right. Have a good one. No problem tomorrow.